Hello, my name is Craig Savage, but you can call me Doc, and welcome to another episode of Real World Analytics, or What Schools Don't Teach You. If you've seen my FAQ, there's a number of topics I want to cover in this first bit of my series, and today I want to talk about starting positions. Now, this may be a little different than what you're expecting in a data analysis talk, or from the thoughts of a data scientist, but please bear with me and try to keep an open mind. So let's start with some basic questions. Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here? Where are you going? And so answer those questions first. And again, you may be scratching your head and saying, well, what does this have to do with data analysis or data science work? Again, bear with me. So first, let's talk about my relative privilege. I'm not talking about my male privilege or my white privilege, but the fact that I don't need a job. My wife works, she's a professional. If I don't need to work, fine. Your situation may be different. You may be struggling to provide for yourself or your family. You may be subject to harassment or bullying, and you may be looking to change for those reasons. Okay, I acknowledge those reasons, and I would like to put to you that that doesn't make those questions irrelevant, but rather it makes them easy. So it's possible that actually the social aspects of your job may be more important than your work. And if you're in academia, you're around like-minded people. If you're a university student, they're all probably about your same age. You may live in a dormitory with them. You see them every day. They're in a similar demographic to yourself. But work isn't like that. When you arrive at a day job, at a 9-to-5 job, you have people of all different age groups, very different socioeconomic backgrounds, different geographic backgrounds. And so the social aspects may be more important. So do you believe in the industry or the company that you're working for? The type of people that work in those industries, are they aligned to you? I've spoken about the differences between kind of data analysts and management and how there's this gap between them. Are you going to be the only data analyst working at your company, for instance? And the person you work for, what are they like? What's their personality like? Are they a micromanager? Are they themselves technical? Are they more high-level management? How is the person that you'll be working with, and that's going to be responsible for your job, how do you get along? And then do you take pride or get satisfaction from your work? Are you pushing the frontiers of knowledge as you may be doing in academia, or do you want to make things more reliable? Which of those sounds better to you? And do you see manifestations of your work? So I work in credit risk. Banks employ models that I build to determine if people are eligible for loans. And while I don't see people go into banks and apply for them, I know that the work I'm doing has an impact on the world, and I'm quite proud of that. And don't forget the Pareto principle, that you don't need to go through intense kind of navel gazing and figuring out what's most important to you and get existential about things. Give it a little bit of a thought, and you can get 80% of what motivates you or what you enjoy through 20% thinking about it, loosely speaking, in general, etc. So how should you go about doing this? How could you think about it? So I'll propose to you that you should be ready to move backward to move forward. If you're changing industries, if you're changing from graduation to your first job, you may have a bit of a bump in your expectations. So don't be surprised if things aren't going exactly as you may have wanted, and don't be afraid to change and move backward a step in order to have future rewards. So if you're changing industry, you may have a decrease in pay or status. Try not to worry about that too much. The way most companies are set up is you have pay bands, but then it can be considerable overlap. When I got my first job, the pay difference between the highest paid level 1 and the lowest paid level 4 was about $500 a year. So you can have considerable overlap, and even if your title is lower than you may have wanted, the pay might be commensurate, and vice versa, that you may get paid less but have a higher title. And as you're moving from academia to industry especially, you may go from pushing the frontiers of knowledge, either knowledge of the general community or of yourself, to you are just a small part in a structure. If it's a large company, then you could just feel like a cog in the machine. If it's a small company, you may be one of 4 or 5 people all doing your part or parts of a small company, and try to abstract what you like and dislike. So I assume you're here because you like data analysis, but what is it about data analysis that you like? And if you're going to move into industry or to a career, what motivates you? Is it going to be money? Now, money's funny because for people that have enough money, money's not important. For people that don't have money, money suddenly goes to the top of the list. So money is a funny one because it's more about whether you have enough than the money itself. How much is enough? Well, you can think about that. But I will put to you that perhaps it's not the money that might motivate you, but rather the security. So the idea that if you have enough money, then you'll be safe, then you'll be able to provide for yourself and your family. And so for me, again, my wife works, I have the security. She's my wife, we are committed together for life. She makes enough money, we're fine. I am secure, and that is more important to me than just going out and earning more money. Do you want prestige? Do you want to have your name on papers? Do you want to be pushing the frontiers of knowledge? Do you want this ascendant career and move on to be CEO someday? Is that what motivates you? Is it altruism? Would you rather take a lower paying, less secure job for, say, a charity and go out helping people? How important is that to you? And then finally, is there something else that I haven't covered here that you may think about and wonder if that is what motivates you? So what can you do? What can you do to try to prioritize this, to organize your thoughts? So first, share. And while in other videos I talk about sharing on LinkedIn and YouTube and stuff, well, discuss these issues with your friends or family. Ask people who know and love you what they think motivates you and where they think you should be going. You're going to get different opinions, but try to take it all on board. And having that type of skill will help you if you move into industry and you're asking people from different areas what's important and what areas of the organization are important to them. And reach out for help, especially if you are in that kind of survival stage where you might be struggling to provide for your friends or for your loved ones, or you might be subject to harassment or bullying. Reach out for help. And then a level removed from that, if you try to discuss things with people in the field, such as getting to LinkedIn, if you ask me what I think about being a data analyst, I mean, that's what this channel is all about. And reach out to friends on Facebook, see if you have friends of friends who are in the industry. And then the next two may seem kind of contradictory, that you should apply for jobs either one higher or one lower than where you currently are. Now, one higher is aspirational, but don't sell yourself short. Go for it. And one lower could be, don't be afraid to take a step back, to take a step forward. And finally, there's always the option that when you apply for something that's outside your preferred range, they might just tell you, look, this one's too high for you or this one's too low for you, but we have this other job coming that you should apply for. So don't neglect that as an option. I know people who have gotten jobs in exactly this manner, so don't be afraid to reach out and apply for things that are outside your desired range. And if you get it and you realize that actually, no, that's too much responsibility or too much of a demotion, you can always say no. It doesn't hurt to try. Thank you for watching another episode of Real World Analytics, or What Schools Don't Teach You. I understand that this may be a bit further than what schools teach you, but I do encourage you to consider them.